Have you got a camera, Matty?
Not me, no.
Good, I haven't either. Good, so let's go. Okay. Look, theatrical rocks. Come forth. Gravel. Here it is. What I would say is it doesn't look very different to the normal G-Class, and that is totally intentional. That's exactly what Mercedes want. It has to look like another G-Wagen. They evolve these things very, very slowly, like Porsche do with the 911. Obviously the difference with this is it's an entirely new drivetrain. Probably the biggest revolution in G-Wagen history. And it interests me because I like EVs.
We came to the home of the G, Graz, Austria, to get a brief early look at this important new electric era for Merck's influential G product. In this video, I talked to the project manager and EV engineer to find out as much as possible on this quadruple motored, near 300 mile WLTP, 3-ton block of ex-military chic that promises to be far superior off-road to any piston G-Wagen that has come before it. Watch on to find out why, and if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and comment in the section below. This episode is powered by driverreviews.com, Europe's largest verified driver reviews platform.
So on the one hand, it kind of looks the same. On the other hand, it moves the game along quite significantly, they say. In terms of G-Wagen, I'll talk a little bit more about the high voltage side because I've got a specialist coming in who's been leading the project. But there's other things which other car manufacturers have been doing for years, and actually other models of Merck have been doing for years, but for a G-Wagen this is a big deal. You have keyless entry, keyless go. So put your hand down there and it unlocks. Key on there, but the same door handle, the same feel, which is that real bank vault kind of like calling card of the G-Wagen, and it does feel very special. And there's that mad mesh, I think, of old school with new school, no more than now with the high voltage system, the fully electric system in here, but it doesn't say electric car on it anywhere. So Manuel, this is the car that you've probably been working on for, I don't know, 3 years?
Oh, the last 5 years actually, yes.
And you're the high voltage drivetrain guy. That's your job on this.
Yeah, I'm responsible for the electric drive units.
Yeah.
The vehicle control unit, which controls the motors in the vehicle, the energy flows and the cooling,
yeah,
and also the whole thermal system to cool the electric components.
So basically you've got the most important job on the electric G-Wagen.
If you ask me, yes.
Yeah, it's true though.
Yeah.
Because obviously I know it doesn't look too different, and that's intentional.
Yes.
So let's delve straight into, there's so many questions people have got about like, what is the drivetrain? It's got 4 motors, right?
Yes, we've got 4 electric motors included, integrated into the vehicle.
Yeah.
And each motor produces 108 kilowatts, so we've got 432 kilowatts altogether in this vehicle. And we have 291 Newton meters per motor, so it's 1,164 Newton meters altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
Torque machine.
Torque machine, exactly, yes.
And you were saying, so that's, like you say, 291 Newton meters each, so the combined horsepower of this car?
The combined horsepower is 587 horsepower.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that all the other G-Wagens have got mechanical diff locks, which has always been the way it can climb off-road so well.
Yeah.
This is not that. This is different.
This is different. Yes. We had one motto, one target when we started to develop the vehicle. We said the G will be the G. So the G-Class will be the G-Class.
Yeah.
Everybody can see it. We didn't change the iconic design, the boxy silhouette of the vehicle.
Yeah.
But it also means that we didn't want to compromise the off-road driving. So no compromises when going on unpaved roads, when going off-road. That was the main development target.
Yeah.
And that meant some efforts to take.
Yeah, well, I know, because the ladder chassis is still the ladder chassis. It has been adapted slightly.
Yes. yes.
I remember you said to me earlier,
Yeah.
it's mostly because of the torsion and the...
Yeah, it's mainly because we wanted to create more space to integrate the high voltage battery.
Yeah.
And also that there's different stresses, like the vehicle with a big battery, it's heavier than the combustion engine model.
Yeah.
And you know, we have a lot of cool special features the combustion engine vehicle cannot do. And there's different stresses and loads on the chassis, on the ladder frame. So we had to strengthen it in some points. So it's slightly different.
Okay.
But the principle is the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can we have a look underneath the bonnet?
Yeah,
I'd
sure,
love to just,
sure.
if you
Yeah.
can release it for me and I'll
Yes.
have a quick look.
Will do.
I don't know what we can see under here, but it's just nice that we're able to see what's under the...
So
Oh, there's nothing. You
Here we
can't
go.
see anything.
yeah, but we can take away this.
Oh, can
this
you?
cover? Yeah.
Yeah, can we? Let's
So
take it off.
yes.
Oh, good, because I'm going to
We're
say...
here to give you some insights.
Oh, okay. So we can see
So-
some guts.
Yeah. So what you can see is we didn't integrate a FRUNK because first of all, in the G class, you know, it's quite high. If we would have a FRUNK here, you would have to reach really low. I'm a tall person.
Yeah,
I'm
you are.
like nearly 2 meters high, but for the average person, it would be hard to get something out.
Yeah.
And as you can see, there's a lot of technology in here.
Yeah.
So that's the sound bar. I think you already heard about the aura sound of the vehicle and the G raw.
Yeah, the G
So
raw. So this is
that-
part of the G raw.
Yes, exactly.
So is this an engine sound or is this like a synthesized kind of like
it's
alien
like,
sound?
It's like it's not my field of expertise, but it's like I would describe it as a modern V8-like sound
Oh, okay,
experience.
okay,
So
okay.
it's really cool for those who like the vehicle silent, like electric car. They can switch it off.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool sound experience produced by this sound
That
bar.
thing up there.
Yeah. And underneath, that's the core of the vehicle. So this is for cooling, but underneath there's the electric drive unit,
Yeah, I can see it's
And,
well tucked down there.
and there's a lot of technology inside. We talked about 2 motors per axle, so 4 altogether.
Yeah.
There's a double inverter controlling the motors, and what's most special about this vehicle, there's a 2-speed gearbox to each motor.
To each motor.
To each motor, yes. So we've 4 2-speed gearboxes in this vehicle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So the front is not connected to the back with prop shafts
No,
or anything like that. No.
It's all like the diff locks are virtual,
Yeah.
so we distribute the torque. Like the vehicle kind of feels where there's traction.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you go off-road, you can like feel the vehicle
Transferring,
yeah, and it moves, and you can also see it on the screen when it moves the torque to the motors that have traction to move it even the highest slopes. So no compromises. Going off-road means 100% climbing ability.
Yeah.
It means wading depth that's even bigger than with the combustion engine model.
Tell them what the wading depth is.
Yeah, the wading depth will be is 850 millimeters compared to 700 millimeters with the combustion engine model. Because the cool thing about electric motors is they don't need to breathe air.
No.
They with 700 millimeters they're underwater, they're submerged.
Yep.
So we can go even higher to 850 millimeters.
That's incredible. So I know that in terms of charging,
Yes.
so the battery, it's over 100 kilowatt hours, isn't it? Yeah.
It's 116 kilowatt hours actually.
Yeah, and that's usable.
That's usable
yeah.
energy, yes.
Yeah. So 116 kilowatt hour battery size usable, and you told me that it's 2 cell layers.
Yes, yes.
Obviously, in between this separate chassis, the old school chassis.
Yeah, yes. In between the ladder frame, yes.
Yeah, and it's liquid cooled in between all those layers.
Yes, exactly. So there's 3 cooling layers. There's one underneath, then there's a cell layer, then there's the second cooling layer, one more cell layer, and then the electronics on top.
Yeah,
Yes.
And that's because you had to package it in.
Yeah. So it looks like a big vehicle, but it's still kind of tight because there's a lot of technology, big battery.
Yeah.
So we have the ladder frame that's kind of tight. So we had to stack everything all together. So there's a lot of height available. We use that one.
Yeah.
And it's a completely new modules and battery pack for this vehicle.
Ah, okay. So this is the same cells as the
As the new EQS. Yes.
the new EQS.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the most modern cell technology we take over from EQS,
Yeah.
but in a completely new dedicated package.
Configuration to get into this car.
Yes, exactly.
In terms of charging,
Yeah.
AC charging up to 11 kilowatts,
Yes.
DC up to 200,
Yes.
which is obviously CCS,
Mm-hmm.
and that's 10 to 80% of charge in 32 minutes.
Yes.
So half hour. I want to talk about because obviously wading up to 850
Yeah. It's
mil.
like up to here.
Is it this line? This.
Yeah, it's about this line. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So
But it's not on purpose this line, but I'd say it's up to here. Yes. So it's just underneath the charging socket.
now the range, because we were just
Yes.
talking about the charging.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the front because the range is, let me get this right, over 470 kilometres.
Yes.
WLTP.
Yes. WLTP. Yes.
So we were saying that's like just under 290 miles.
Yes. Exactly.
But you were saying when you were testing it off-road, of course, because you're not going fast,
Yeah.
and because there's not wind resistance when you're going
Yeah,
fast
yeah,
off-road, you could do way more miles than that.
You can do a lot of time. That's basically the thing, because you don't use a lot of power when going off-road. You go slow, and there's the low range. So the off-road gearing helps us to be efficient.
Yeah.
Because we need less torque from the motor, so less current in the motor, less current losses.
Of course.
That really improves efficiency. And the second thing, we have really high recuperation when going off-road. There's a feature we call off-road crawl, that it's basically some kind of off-road cruise control, really smooth cruise control with downhill speed regulation, but not with the brakes,
Okay.
but with the motors. And if you go downhill, you're recuperating all the time. It's like when you go up a hill, you lose 3% of charge, and when you go down, you get 2% back.
Oh, really?
So, and that's how you can go off-road for a really long time. We can go up Mount Schöckel here, close to Graz.
Yeah.
Which
Which is the G Wagen mountain, basically.
Yeah. So there's the plates in the door. So this car is Schöckel-proof.
Okay.
That's like most important. That's like the proof it's a real off-roader. And you can go up that mountain about 14 times, up and down.
14?
14. You can't do it in one day, or you'll need to see the doctor because your back's going to ache. Because it's really hard off-roading. And it's about the height difference of Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So it's more than 8,000 meters of height difference.
So you were saying, like, let me get this right. You've got the G-turn, which is the 360 or 720 ability.
Yeah, on the spot,
On
exactly.
loose
loose surfaces, yes.
So that's that one.
That's that
That
one.
one
That's
there.
that one, yes.
Okay. And then you've got the, and you use the paddles to change direction for
Yeah, exactly. So basically what you do is you put the vehicle in rock mode for going off-road.
Yeah.
Then you go to low range with this center button.
Yeah.
And then you press this button and the vehicle is going to guide you through the procedure. So it's going to tell you to have the steering wheel centered.
Yeah.
Yes, so wheels straight. And then you just have to push this pedal or that pedal for going right and left.
Yeah.
And
And then
on
on
the
the throttle.
accelerator pedal, and the vehicle is going
And that's it.
to turn. Yes.
And then the one on the left is the G-turn.
This is the G steering.
Oh, G-steering.
Yeah.
G-steering.
G
That's right,
steering.
sorry.
Yeah.
So G-steering. Now, I've written down minimises cornering on narrow trails and tight curves with braking one wheel to rotate the car.
Yeah. So it's if you go a little faster, it's like some off-road drift.
Yeah.
Like you move the wheel and it's going to break down the rear right or left wheel, and it's going to turn the
like a
vehicle around that wheel.
Right, okay.
So you can really tight curves, no problem. It's really handy, really agile.
And again, just on loose kind of surface.
Yes, it's supposed for off-roading on loose surface.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you got off-road crawl, which
We've got off-road crawl,
which we're saying it's like kind of like off-road cruise control.
Cruise control, yeah.
Which sounds
And you
great.
can put it to 3 different speeds. So also with the pedals, like in the lowest speed, it's 1 to 2 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
Then the mid speed setting is 3 to 4 kilometers per hour, and in the third setting, you can go to some speed like 10 km/h with your accelerator pedal, and then it's going to keep that speed. But the cool thing is you can really concentrate on the trail, you can concentrate on what's the ideal line to go around rocks, but you can take over control anytime. So if you step on the brake pedal or the accelerator pedal, it's smoothly going to ramp out and you're in control.
Right,
so
okay.
you can always be in control.
This is exactly the same as a normal G Wagen, as in boot space is the same, floor space is the same, it's just not different. So they've really integrated all that high voltage EV gear inside the chassis, and obviously this is still a separate body chassis car. So that's pretty impressive, isn't it? Before, if you're a bit of a novice when it comes to G Wagens, they're not that roomy inside, certainly not in the back, not compared to a lot of other cars out there. But actually, they're not that big a car. They're not that big a car. You think they're big, and the 4x4 squared and the six-wheel drive thing is ludicrous, but they're not actually that big. They just have that kind of presence, that brawn.
The Edition 1 electric G-Class comes on road-centric Falcon 20-inch tyres. When it comes to choosing new tyres for your car, from EV to SUV, head to driverreviews.com.
Driver Reviews can help reduce the stress of finding new tyres for your car. Partnering with many of the largest tyre retailers in the world, Driver Reviews brings you thousands of verified and unbiased tyre reviews covering all of the leading brands. So when you're searching for new tyres, look out for the Driver Reviews logo to give you peace of mind that the reviews come from real customers just like you. To discover your local Driver Reviews partner website and to find out the winning tyres of this year's Customer Choice Awards, visit driverreviews.com.
So Tony, you're the sort of head of this project, is that right?
Actually, I'm the product manager for the G Wagen.
Okay, so
for the whole G Wagen family, actually.
Okay.
But of course, this is our very special baby that we will launch now, the fully electric G Wagen.
So I'm going to get this correct if I can. So the models are G450 diesel,
right?
G500, which is now a 6-cylinder, not a V8.
Exactly.
G63 AMG, and then this, which is not called the EVG or the GEV, it's called the G580 with EQ technology.
Absolutely correct.
Right. I know they've all got hybrid systems apart from this, which is obviously pure EV. So when I first saw it, I thought, I know there's some subtle differences in the body. The front grille with that lovely light signature.
Yes, the new
But
black
there's some.
panel.
But is this different? I think this is different.
Yes, that's a special part. It's a special part of our aerodynamic optimization, actually.
Okay.
So this is what we call air curtain.
Yeah.
So the airflow that comes around the car gets a much better air circulation in the back part of the car. So this measurement here is just available for the electric G Wagen, and this one in combination with the other aero measurements. So like for example here for the A pillar.
Yeah.
So we really flatten this part here, and we have another cap up here, so this little spoiler up here.
Yeah.
These two, the air curtains, and of course our new engine hood, only available for the electric G Wagen. These parts improve the aerodynamics, so the drag coefficient of the car, compared to the old combustion engines, to next level actually, because we are talking about a drag coefficient of 0.53 for the old version.
Yeah.
And in this case, for the electric version, we are talking about 0.44. So if you are looking at that iconic boxy shape and design, that's really a big job the engineers did here to improve that.
And the body's made of the same materials?
Absolutely. We have the same body, we have the same doors, the same back door. So in general speaking, the whole body design is the same.
Yeah.
The front bumper, the rear bumper, exactly the same like for the combustion models. But
Bonnet's
engine hood,
different.
A-pillar,
This.
spoiler, and the air curtain.
This.
Those are the main differences in terms of aerodynamic features.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, you were talking about the protection plate for the battery system, right?
Yeah.
And this also gives us a better airflow underneath the car, because it's like for
It's a flat floor,
Volkswagen, it's a flat floor, so you have less turbulence actually under the car.
So it's the first flat floor G Wagen.
You could call it like that.
That's
But of
technical.
course, the main part of the underbody protection is to protect the battery, actually. That's the most important part, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So is this the quickest G-Class that's going to be on sale, and will it be the most expensive? Can you tell me this?
It will be the most powerful G-Class,
Okay.
but it will not be the quickest.
Okay.
Actually, we have 2 kilowatt more performance than for the G63.
Yeah.
We have much more torque than for the G63, but actually, as you can imagine, I mean, we are talking about a really heavy car, so 3.1 tons, depending on the special equipments you choose for as a customer.
Yes.
So actually, roughly speaking, we have 400, 500 kilogram more weight than for the G63. So the power weight ratio
Yeah.
is a little bit better on the AMG side. But since we have so much power and so much torque for this car,
Yeah.
you don't really feel that it's a heavy car, because it really feels like very dynamic, very reactive actually, because
Yeah.
those 4 electric engines, they react like within milliseconds.
And I guess regen braking helps to stop it and harvest that
Absolutely.
energy
So
back.
the recuperation of this car is really on the next level, because you can imagine if you have a low range reduction and 4 electric motors, the recuperation power of this car to recharge the battery is really on a very high level.
Yeah.
And your second question regarding the price positioning, yes, we will not communicate it right now, but I can tell you the positioning will be somewhere in between the G500 and the G63. So the electric G Wagen, because it's, I mean, you can already recognize it with the expression G580.
Yeah.
It's positioned in between the G500 and today's G63.
So it'll be less money than the AMG.
Yes,
Okay.
a bit.
a bit. We're still gonna. I'm sure we're still talking a couple of £100,000 probably. Wanting to come round to the back, because I know there's this manufacturer individualization program with G Wagens. From what I can tell, you're sort of saying the customer can kind of have any colour they want. Lots of different configurations.
Exactly.
They're all handmade, low volume car anyway, so obviously it's not exactly like you're not churning them out, are you?
No, they are handmade, and I mean it takes around 100 hours to produce a G Wagen, compared to around 25 hours for a regular Mercedes-Benz car. So actually, the handmade process for G Wagen is on a much higher level than for all the other products.
I didn't know
we
it was that
produce.
much longer.
Yeah,
4 times longer than a normal.
Roughly 4 times longer,
Wow.
right. So yes, talking about manufacture, at the very beginning, so for the market launch, for the ramp up of production, we will offer this special model as edition 1.
Yeah.
So the configuration of this car is fixed, so to say,
Yeah.
but of course our customers can choose from 5 different exterior colors.
Yeah.
Why those 5? Because they perfectly match with all the blue details this car gets. So when we are talking about the market launch, you will only have the possibility to have 5 exterior colors and 1 special interior.
Yeah.
But after the market launch, we will also offer this car with all the manufacturer program options. So more than 40 different exterior paints, several interior versions, the option to get a full spare wheel instead of this great design box we have for the edition 1 only.
So this doesn't have a wheel in it?
No, it doesn't.
This is for storage?
This is for storage.
Is it?
Right. So it doesn't
Right.
just look good, you can also open it, because everybody's
I didn't know that.
is struggling a little
Oh.
bit what to do with the charging cable, actually.
It's the cable storage.
It's the cable storage. I mean, everybody who's charging his or her EV in the winter times when
Yeah.
it's raining and dirty outside, I mean, whenever you have to throw them into the back of the car, not the best way. So we said, let's change from spare wheel to the design box. And now you have some storage here. You can also use it for your
shoes.
For your shoes, for your gloves, for your, I don't know, ice scraper, or for the snow change, for example. So actually,
that's a great idea, because
it's a practical topic.
Because the storage under the boot floor is not great when you've got stuff in the boot.
Yes.
But actually, talking of the boot, because obviously G Wagons have always had huge boots. Is the boot on this?
You just have to press it like this. Look.
See, this is the thing about the G Wagon. You just basically have to like close stuff really hard. The boot was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Is the boot the same as the piston engine, the size?
Yeah. I mean, you can recognize it here. We only have, I would say, like maybe 15 millimeters less.
Is that it?
A higher floor of
so
around
that,
50 millimeters.
It's tiny.
It's just tiny little bit. The rest of the compartment is the same like for the combustions.
And are the wheels EV specific wheels on this? Or?
Actually, no, they aren't, because we will offer these 20-inch rims on the AMG line also for the combustion versions.
Okay.
But what is special about the Edition 1, you can see the blue stripe here in the protective, in this protective strip.
Yeah.
And we have blue brake calipers on the back and in the front axle, on the front axle, only available for this Edition 1, so for the electric Edition 1, of course.
I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by it. Can you hear the noise whenever we open the door? I don't know if you can hear it kind of...
And that's also very special.
That's
topic.
the simulated, the G-Roar.
Right. Because whenever you open the car, the G-Roar starts, so you will hear this nice aura, so the car welcomes you and also says goodbye when you switch off the electric motor. But as soon as you start the engine or the motors, you have two different drive modes. So when you are driving in comfort mode, it's all inspired by our G500 V8 sound, but it drives like it's not getting on your nerves. So you feel the power of the car. You can hear, hey, this is a G-Wagon. And as soon as you switch into sports mode, then the sound goes to the next level, and then you really feel the power, the performance of the car. And the cool thing about the sound, and that's also why we call it G-Roar, it's so powerful that you are really inspired to push the gas pedal even more. So you don't want to switch off the G-Roar because it's so much fun to drive it.
So inside the new G, I've seen the AMG version, and I know that the interior is largely the same, apart from maybe the steering wheel and some AMG badges. The biggest changes for me is obviously this big wide screen here that's built into the dash. But you've still got physical buttons, which I like.
Absolutely.
And I know about the off-road cockpit bit. What are the other major differences here? Because obviously, technologically, it probably borrows a lot of the stuff from other Mercedes models, which is what the previous car did.
Yes.
You know, the interior was like a sort of E-Class or something like that.
That's right. So what you can see here is that we have a very special Edition 1 interior. So this will only be available for the market launch of the electric G-Wagon.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the blue details in the exterior of the car. So we of course made sure that we really have a perfect match exterior and interior wise. So you will find all these nice blue stitchings around. Also in the steering wheel, blue stitchings only available for the Edition 1. Of course, not missing an Edition 1 badge, but very special and really high class is the carbon fiber trim part with all the blue stitchings inside.
Oh, is that blue?
Yeah, it's really blue, and you also find it here in the center console.
Yeah.
And this is special because regularly also red carbon, for example, is only available or was available in 2018 for the first edition of the G63, and now we will offer the blue carbon trim part for the EV only, so only for the Edition 1 in this special interior look.
Who would have thought that 45 years ago, when they produced the G-Wagen, they were still going to be making it now, and in fact the legend was stronger than ever. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that in 2024 it's a really good idea to build a 3-ton SUV that's either piston powered or electric powered, because it's not an ideal starting point. But there's a fascination to the G Wagen. I still am drawn to it. I'm fascinated by the fact they're integrating all this new tech with such a weird dinosaur, modern interior, but still kind of like Cold War-esque exterior. And I hope that this electric one will be the most successful. I actually think that my favourite G Wagons are the ones that are not the AMG sporty glitzy ones. I actually prefer the toned down ones. I'd love to know what you think though. If you haven't already seen my video on the other 2024 G Wagens, the G500 and the G63 AMG, well, I'll put a link on screen now and go and watch that if you haven't already. But what do I think about this? Well, I think this is going to be a really influential car, and I do think it will sell extremely well, regardless of any recessions, because let's face it, the G Wagen is kind of exempt from any recession.